Smurphey had here on the topic of 1099s. I personally manage our rental property held in an LLC. Can the LLC pay me a property management fee as a 1099 hire without triggering payroll tax or any other reporting requirement? That's such a great question. Remember when we talked about the LLC and the rentals? This is where people get very much confused. And I'll tell you the reason why. Tax likes structure. Structure begins with entities. Who holds a piece of property? Who's managing a piece of property, right? And then how does the cash move? These are very distinct questions. So now, who holds it? Like who holds it is typically who has the deed. So if I'm talking about a piece of rental property or any type of real estate, whose name is on the deed? That's who holds it. It could be a holding company. It could be an individual. It could be a trust. It could be many things, right? So who holds it? That's the person who will report anything that's happening, right? Now, if I have a management company, right, or I manage whatever the case might be, if I manage a company, what happens is the management company collects my rental income, takes care of all my expenses, and whatever's left over, they just dump it back to whoever holds the deed. Okay. Now, in your questions, Murphy, here is that I don't have, the way I'm reading it, I don't have a property management company. I am the property management, which is a cool thing. I would prefer my spouse to be a property management, but it is whatever you decide in your family. So what happens here is, what are you trying to do? So you have to understand that the math drives the decision. It's not, you don't make decisions like, oh yeah, that sounds good. That's actually very interesting. That's it's a calculation. Tax planning requires the math to be done. So let's say I have this rental. Let's say I have this, multi-unit, whatever the case might be. So let's say, to make it easy, I charge whatever 100,000 a year to manage this property. So this is the property. Now, if the property is paying me, the whoever holds the deed, we don't know who holds the deed. Let's assume that my spouse holds the deed, and my spouse is paying me to manage the property for 100,000 a year. So this is on my return because me and my spouse are one on the return, married filing joint. I get paid. So literally, I move it from the rental to a business income to me. Unless I have deductions to write it off, like I just shifted income from ordinary income to ordinary income plus self-employment tax. So why would I do that? Unless you have reasons to do it. So again, that's more of a tax planning conversation, right? Why do I want to do that? Depending on if you're paying $10,000, $15,000, I don't know. I don't know how much you're paying. But the question is, what are you trying to achieve with that move? Because rental income, right? Whatever you're left at the end of the year, you are being charged ordinary income tax rate on it, right? If I get a 1099 income, I get on top of the ordinary income, I get the self-employment income, which adds another 15%. Why would I do that? That's such a